Hello and welcome. I'm Saeed from StoryPlanet.net. Dive right into the essence of the most captivating books without reading them cover to cover. Whether you're on the go, at the gym, or just relaxing at home, we offer you a unique and enriching listening experience. Today, we are exploring the book, The Leader's Guide to Unconscious Bias, a creation by Pamela Fuller and Mark Murphy with Anne Chow. The Leader's Guide to Unconscious Bias, 2020, provides a roadmap for recognizing and addressing unconscious bias in the workplace. Leaders and managers play a crucial role in safeguarding their team members' careers from its negative impact. Before we delve into these revelations, it's interesting to note that Pamela Fuller, the chief thought leader on inclusion and bias at FranklinCovey, previously worked as a diversity analyst at the U.S. Department of Defense. She is joined by Mark Murphy, a senior consultant at FranklinCovey, and Anne Chow, the first woman of color CEO of AT&T Business. With 6 key ideas to unveil, brace yourself for a deep dive into this captivating book on StoryPlanet.net. To start, the text is about the benefits of learning how to overcome unconscious bias. The text discusses how personal preferences can turn into biases, affecting others' careers, especially in professional settings. It highlights the impact of unconscious biases, such as lower pay for people with strong accents and height and skin color affecting professional success. The text aims to guide leaders on how to address unconscious bias and emphasizes that everyone has biases. It focuses on strategies for recognizing and dealing with biases, applicable beyond leadership roles. The key points include understanding how backgrounds shape biases, fostering connections to minimize bias, and how to address unconscious bias when observed. Key idea number 1. Identify the origins of your biases to move past them. The text discusses personal biases and how they can affect our perceptions and behaviors towards others. It encourages self-reflection by asking readers to identify characteristics that may lead to biases and to understand their origin stories. The text provides an example of how biases can be influenced by personal backgrounds and experiences, highlighting the importance of recognizing and addressing biases to make more informed decisions. Key idea number 2. The initial step in addressing unconscious bias is recognizing and identifying your own biases. The text outlines a 4-step model for addressing unconscious bias, including identifying bias, cultivating connection, choosing courage, and applying the system across a career. It discusses common biases such as confirmation bias, anchoring bias, attribution bias, and in-group bias, highlighting how they can impact decision-making in the workplace. The text emphasizes the importance of recognizing biases and their influence on judgments and interactions with others. Key idea number 3. The second step in addressing unconscious bias is to develop connections. To address unconscious bias, one should cultivate connection by being curious and empathetic. Avoid making assumptions based on personal biases, as demonstrated by an example with job candidates. Networks within organizations like mentorship and coaching can also help support diverse perspectives and prevent bias in decision-making processes. Key idea number 4. Step 3 in addressing unconscious bias is to exhibit courage. Step 3 in dealing with unconscious bias involves addressing bias head-on, known as choose courage. It requires recognizing when bias occurs and taking action. This includes considering your thoughts and feelings, coping with bias when it affects you, finding support from others who understand, prioritizing self-care for resilience, and addressing bias constructively by communicating strategically with individuals involved, even though it may take courage. Key idea number 5. Encourage bravery and support others as an ally. It is important to speak out against biases and discrimination experienced by others, not just yourself, by being an ally. Recognize your own privileges and use them to support those who face biases. Being an ally involves actively addressing biases and offering support to those affected, such as creating employee resource groups. Encouraging allies to participate in such groups helps increase awareness and combat biases. Key idea number 6, applying the first 3 steps of addressing unconscious bias across the talent lifecycle is the final step in combating bias. The final step in tackling unconscious bias is applying actions at all stages of the talent lifecycle, from recruitment to career development and promotions within a company. Unconscious bias can impact each step of the journey. Therefore, it is crucial to address it. Actions such as thoughtful recruitment strategies, inclusive job descriptions, diverse interview panels, pay equity audits, promoting open communication, offering equal opportunities, succession planning for diversity, and selecting based on skills rather than personal preferences are essential in combating bias at every stage. In conclusion, the key points are that everyone has biases, both conscious and unconscious, that influence workplace interactions. To overcome these biases, it is crucial to identify and understand them. Taking action by cultivating connections, calling out bias, and actively seeking biases in daily workflows is essential. Encouraging courage within the team to address and combat biases is pivotal for creating a more inclusive work environment. Thank you for listening to this summary. If you enjoyed this exploration, we invite you to discover other fascinating books on StoryPlanet.net. Don't wait any longer. A multitude of books, stories, and knowledge await you there. See you soon on StoryPlanet.net.